Hello there! Welcome to the second part of the robotic gorilla lesson by RoboCamp. This means that we have already covered the introduction to this lesson and we're about to start building the robot. Now we will do this together, you and me. By following the instructions you will see appear behind me. In the next stages of this lesson, I'll explain to you how this robot is supposed to work, and we will also create a program for it. Now, if you want to complete this stage with me, you will need robotics kit. To be precise, you will need LEGO Education WeDo 2.0. It has all the parts that we need for this robot. Now, if you are a teacher and you would like to use these instructions, this content during your lessons, head to robocamp.eu. That's where you can find even more lessons like this one, and that's where you can gain access to all the instructions you see behind me. And now, if you are ready, let's build this robot. Okay, now that I moved the box with all the parts a bit to the side, I have enough space right here in front of me to build the robot. Now remember, it's quite important to prepare your workspace when you're building robots, because otherwise parts can easily get lost, and you don't want that. Now, let me show you how the instructions look like. You can see that there is actually a smaller window in the top left part of those instructions. That's where you can find all the parts needed for this particular step. So let's start with this. Let's find all the elements you can see here. And this time it's all plates. Two like these, and two of these. Now, if you are not sure if it's the right element, be sure to count the studs. For example, this element is 2 per 6 studs, so it's one of the elements that we need. Now that you have everything, okay, let's see how we should connect them. Now, of course, they shouldn't be floating in the air, so let's see the after picture. Okay, before and after. Okay. Okay, so this is how it should look like. First one should be here, the first plate, and the other should be right here. Okay. Make sure you connect everything really well. Okay, this is how this element should look like. Okay, and now let's proceed to the next step. Okay, this time we need one brick, like this one, and two smaller Technic bricks. Now, Technic bricks are the ones with the holes right here in the middle. Okay, and that's how it should be connected. Now, if I am going a little bit too fast for you, don't worry, just pause the video, okay? It's better to make everything right at the first time when building robots, because then, well, if you make a mistake early on, you will need to change the entire construction, and this can be tricky. So, okay, this is how this element should look like. So let's go to the next step. Okay, this time we need 4 Technic bricks of the same type. Okay, they should all be 4 studs long. Okay. Next, this time we need 2 plates. The longer ones. And I bet that they should be right on top. Right here. Okay. Next, we need to find a 1/2 pin, half axle, and also those two interesting, slightly longer pin axles, okay? So first, let's find them. One is right here. I hope it doesn't fall off the table. Watch out with small elements like these. They are the ones that get lost most often. Okay, we also have these elements. And now all we need to do is connect them. Now here this is not obvious, so let me show you also from another perspective. Okay, this is from another angle how this element should look like. And notice that this yellow plate is in the front, okay? At this stage, it's quite easy to mix one side with the other, so make sure you place this axle pin in the correct place. All right. More plates, everyone, but this time they're slightly different, okay? The first one is 2x6 studs, and the other one is a bit thinner. We actually need 2 of those, okay? Now let's connect these bricks. Okay. Now, if you are not sure just how far it should be out, notice that there are only 3 studs on this side. Okay, now we are adding the motor. Now, motors are very, very important for robots. If you cannot see yours on top of this sorting tray, simply check out below. That's where usually electronics can be found. Okay. And this is how we should connect it to the rest of the robot. All right. Now, this is going to dangle for a moment. Don't worry about it. Okay, and now we need one special axle, very short one with those notches you can see here. And also we need a gear, this time the one with 12 teeth. Okay, it's this one. Now we basically need to plug it in. Well, no, not plug it in, just insert it into the motor head. Okay, let's see what is next. Oh, okay, look, we are creating a slightly separate element, okay? It's not going to be immediately connected to this part, so I will just push it aside for a moment. Now let's find all the elements we need. Maybe starting from the axle. Now it should be 6 studs long, but to be honest, I cannot tell really. So I need to count it somehow. So I'll take another very long element, very long brick, place this axle right next to it, and this way count the studs. And this one is actually 6 studs long, so it's the one I need. Now let's add the crown gear. and also 2 bushings. However, slightly different. One is something that's called a full bushing, and this is half bushing. Okay, now let's connect all these elements. Okay, first by sliding it right here, then the half bushing and the gear. Now notice the direction in which the teeth of this gear are. Okay, it should be kind of towards those 2 bushings, like so, not the other way around. Okay. Now we're adding more elements to this part. Okay, so let's find everything. Okay, 1 and 2 wheels. Okay. Okay, that's how they should be connected. So first I need to slide this element onto the axle, and now add those 2 wheels. Now notice that they are actually both in the same position. Okay, so try to slide them in the same position too. Now by in the same position, I mean those holes right here. Okay, you can see that you could actually stick another axle through them and it would just easily come in and come out. That means that those 2 wheels are in the same position. Next we need to repeat the same thing but on the other side. Okay, so first things first, should go right here. And 1 and 2. Now you can see that there is not enough space for this wheel. Actually, I need to move this axle a bit to create more space for this last wheel on the other side. Now this is a bit, this needs a little bit of force. So if you cannot do it yourself, ask someone who slightly stronger than you. Okay. Okay. This is how this part looks like right now. Let's see what's next. Oh, finally we're connecting the 2. Okay, it should go right here. Okay, and now notice why the position of this gear was important. Let's place these elements here. And one thing you will notice that the teeth of those 2 gears are now meshed. Okay, this means that the movement which is produced by the motor will be transferred somewhere through this gear too. Okay, but that's for later. Now let's focus on building. Okay, this time one classic brick. Okay, some of these elements are quite tiny, so let me show them to you on my hand. Oh, actually we need 4 of these. I'm sorry. 1, 2. Okay, now I got all 4. Okay, so now let's connect them. Now we need another very actually identical brick as this yellow one. And also this very curious plate which is on one side rounded. So this one goes right here. And this, if you are not sure, let me show you upside down. It should go right here. Okay, now we need yellow plate, quite small, which will go right here. And next, we're adding some interesting bricks, okay? This one and also two small ones. Okay, how do you think, what element, what part of a gorilla are we building right now? Can you guess? If you haven't guessed yet, I hope that those eyes will be a hint. Okay. All right, this is the head of the gorilla. Okay, but it's not finished yet, okay? There are still some parts we need to add to top it off. Okay, the parts are here. Okay, that's going to be one colorful gorilla. And now we need to place this head right here, okay? Use this, cross-shaped hole with this smooth half axle, half pin. Like so. Now you will notice that since we've used an axle pin that is completely smooth, no friction type, this head can freely move one side and the other. Actually upside down too. Okay. And now, so we already have quite a large part of this gorilla, but there's still some parts that it will most certainly need. So let's find all those elements. Okay, first it should be 8, 8, 8. Yeah, this is 8 studs long. And these two slopes. Okay. Okay, next we need the gray type ones. They are slightly larger. Okay, the first one should go here, and the other one next to it. Now let's find a small tile. Okay, here it is. Okay, and now we need to place this leg right here, connected to the torso of the robotic gorilla. Now, for now, as you can see, it's going to just be quite loose. It will hang in there. But as we proceed, well, this leg is going to be very useful for the gorilla, I'm sure. Now, let's make sure it doesn't fall off right away by taking this bushing and sliding it onto the axle, like so. Next, I bet that we're building another useful element for the gorilla. Perhaps another leg? Okay, now let's find these elements. Okay. Okay, this is getting interesting. And that's how it should look like. Okay, next we need this slightly longer slope right here. Okay, congratulations everyone, we have created the front leg for the gorilla. Now notice how it is connected on our instructions, okay? When connecting this front leg, we need to at the same time connect it to the back leg, but also to this wheel on top of the gorilla's torso, okay? And here, of course, this part needs to go right here, but this should go into one of the holes that are actually lower, okay, here. Maybe let me show you how I connect it on a close-up. Okay, so first I need to more or less try to position this leg exactly as I would want it to, and then try to use a little bit of force to connect these elements. But not too much, okay? We don't want to damage the gorilla here. Okay, this is how it looks like right now. Now, I am sure that some of you have already guessed that, but the next logical step for this gorilla here is to, of course, create legs on the other side. Okay, so let's find the elements that we need. Okay, 1, 2. Now notice that this time we are connecting these elements in a slightly different way, in slightly different positions. That's of course because this is for the other side. Now, if you want to speed up when it comes to building robots, the best advice I can give you is to try and make sure that all your bricks are sorted out, that they are in the right, in the right trays, okay? It's best to use stickers if you have them, because this is really helpful when you're building. It's much easier, much faster to find all the parts that you need. And now, of course, we connect this hind leg to the gorilla, like so. Next, we need to add one bushing. I have mine right here. And just slide it onto the axle. Okay, and now of course the front leg. Okay. Let's top it off with this slope. Okay, and now is the time once again to connect this front leg to the gorilla. Now this time it's going to be even more tricky than it was on the other side, because notice that the position of this leg is slightly different. Well, of course, it still should be connected to the back. It should be connected to the back leg. However, instead of connecting it somewhere low here, we actually need to aim high. It's best if you select the position opposite to the one on the other side. Okay, so let me show you on a close-up how I connect it. Okay, on my robot, you can see that this leg is actually connected to this hole in the wheel, and since they are in the same position, my best guess is to connect the robot to this hole right here. This is the opposite one. Okay, the one leg is connected here. The other one should be connected on the opposite side. Okay, so now I need to once again position this as I want it. Okay, so in my case, this is how it's going to be like. And first, try to connect one part, push it a bit, and then the other. Okay. Now this gorilla is really looking nice, okay? You can see from the front that the position of its legs is different. That's good. That's how it is supposed to be. Okay. But there are still a few steps left, so let's return to the instructions. Although the gorilla itself is now ready, we actually need to build a bit more. So let's find all the elements that are noted here, okay? All the elements that we need. Now this one should be 16 studs long. It is the longest Technic brick in the set. And we also need the longest white plate, which is 12 studs long. And of course, let's not forget about the Smart Hub. Perhaps the most important part of any robot built from WeDo bricks. Okay, this is how it should be connected. Three, four, five, six. Okay. As you can see, it's going to be long. Okay, and now we are actually adding a sensor. This is a tilt sensor. Now, try not to confuse it. The best way is just to look at it at the side. Here you will see this arrow. Now, if you see this, this means you have the tilt sensor. This is the one we need for this step. The other one is distance sensor, and we're not going to use this in this robot. Okay, and don't forget to plug the cable into the smart hub. Okay. All right, we need a bit more plates to make sure that the sensor doesn't fall right off. Okay, next we need to add one yellow plate right on top. Okay. And now we're adding some yellow slopes. Okay, I have them right here. Okay, do these slopes remind you of anything? Something yellow that gorillas and humans enjoy? Yeah, they look like bananas. Okay, they are going to be the motivation for the gorilla to, you'll see. Okay, and the final step is to connect these two elements together, the banana branch and the gorilla. Okay, so take this cable from the motor and connect it right here to the smart hub. Okay, this way we have completed the robot. Let me show you on a close-up how awesome it looks like. Okay, you can see the robot right here. This is the banana bunch and branch, by the way, that we're going to use. Well, you'll see how, but try holding it in your hand, okay? And the gorilla is right here. It looks very friendly. Okay. Now try to compare your construction with mine, see if there are any differences maybe, if there's something that perhaps needs to be adjusted, changed. But if it looks just like my very friendly gorilla, it means that you have done exceptionally well and that your robot is ready. Well, ready for programming, but are you ready? Do you know how this robot is supposed to work? Let's find out. To learn more about this robot, proceed to part 3 of this lesson. And if you enjoyed this part, leave us a thumbs up. This will let us know that you want to see more content like this. In the meantime, thank you so much for completing this robot with me, and I'll see you in the next video.